"Now," said her godmother, "are you ready to go?" Cinderella looked down at her clothes. She hated to seem ungrateful, but she could hardly go to a ball dressed like this.
Once upon a time in Oceanside lived a woman, Mandy, her husband, Ryan, and their 8-year-old daughter, Kaylee. Their tale is one of happiness, love, and family, but it wasn't always an easy one. Mandy was born without an arm.
They think that an amniotic band wrapped around it and just kept it from developing properly. So I've had my whole life to figure out how to adapt and do the things that I want to do.
After spending her childhood bouncing from place to place with her father, who was a pastor, Mandy eventually settled down in Florida. It was there that Mandy met Ryan.
And I'm so fortunate that I found my own Prince Charming. He is so sweet and accepting and supportive in real life, too.
The two fell in love. Ryan, a Marine, was living in San Diego. He flew his new love to California, where the couple went to their own ball, the Marine Corps Ball. Eventually, they got married and had a baby girl.
It's our second Valentine's Day. I went out and bought her a sewing machine because in the Marine Corps, my job is parachute rigger or flight equipment technician. We basically sew and repair fabric things that the aircrew use. So I know how to use a sewing machine. I bought her a sewing machine because she is a theater arts major and she had her own little book of costumes she wanted to design for theaters.
It was that hobby that ended up transforming Mandy into a fairy godmother herself. She created some costumes for her daughter and friends, but then she got inspired.
My daughter had been studying Cinderella stories at school, and I realized that there were all these beautiful tales from around the world, but there were still no princesses who looked like me. And so I just had the thought, if this character doesn't exist, I'm going to create her.
She spent 60 hours creating a Cinderella ball gown and another 40 creating one for her Prince Charming. She wasn't sure exactly what she wanted to do with it all, but she knew she wanted to highlight and celebrate her difference.
When I was growing up, I rarely saw anybody who looked like me on television, but I still didn't see amputee women being portrayed as beautiful or strong. And so it took me a really long time to recognize that the things that make us different and unique can actually be really positive traits.
And that was the twist. Mandy decided instead of a glass slipper, her Cinderella would have a glass arm. After telling friends about her plan, she was linked up to a sculptor in Arizona who took one of her prosthetic arms and created a glass-looking one out of clear resin. She posted the pictures on her Facebook, and overnight, the post went viral with thousands of likes.
I've actually been amazed that everybody has been so positive and encouraging. You know, it's kind of scary to put yourself out there on the internet like this, but it's been incredible how everyone has just had positive messages to convey.
She now has received messages and pictures from families across the United States who say she's an inspiration. Her Prince Charming says all of this couldn't be happening to a better person.
I'm very proud of her. Definitely, she definitely deserves it. She's a very sweet person, a very compassionate person for people.
Mandy has created a new Facebook page where she's invited her followers to share their own stories about celebrating their differences.
I began to realize, this is something really special, and I at least wanted kids who were like me, who had some kind of physical difference or a limb difference, to be able to see it, to maybe inspire them that they can be the hero of their own story too.
She says this is just the beginning. She says her Cinderella story continues to evolve, and she wants to help put the happy in the ever-afters of many more children who might feel a little different. Priya Sridhar, KPBS News.
The lightest tap, the gentlest touch, and she was dressed in a gown of gold and silver.